Hello everybody, welcome back to Beyond the Veil Tarot and Astrology. My name is Candace Marie. Welcome to our live show. Kind of switched it up a little bit on you guys this week. Apologies. My schedule is crazy. So we're actually doing what would be our weekly lives tonight on Thursday. If you are just seeing this and you're like, wait, I thought it was Friday, don't worry, we're going to be back next week. Next week we'll be here on Saturday night. So just keep that in mind. Check out all of my scheduled stuff. I tried to schedule everything early for you guys so you get an idea of when everything's coming out. We've got lives that are going to be on Saturday, and then we'll resume back to our usual Fridays. My Monday video, I just got done recording and getting all of that ready for you guys because there's going to be 2 full moons in Aquarius. We have the very first one that's landing on the 23rd. So if you're one of my regulars, thank you for coming back. Check out that video. It'll be up Monday morning. We're going to talk a lot about what's the purpose of having 2 full moons in Aquarius, where it's hitting your chart specifically. We're also going to talk about the Jupiter-Venus opposition that's going to be setting up in the next week. You got to check it out. Hi, everybody in the chat. It's nice to see you. Hi, Micah, J-Lo, Hydro, Rachel. So you guys know the drill. Those of you guys who have been here, if you subscribe to my channel and if you are on my level 3, you are going to get 1 reading a month, whether it's going to be a 3-card reading, 1 question for my tarot lives, or 1 question about astrology, natal aspects, or a transit. If you're just tuning in just to learn and just to watch, welcome. This week we will be doing astrology. So in order for me to do a reading for you, you have 2 options. You can check out the pinned link at the top of the chat. I have my PayPal there. We're going to be charging $40 for 1 astrology question of your choice, whether that's an aspect in your chart you want to know more about or by transit. And I'm also offering $65 for a question about synastry aspects. So if you know your chart and you've got a question about another person, could it work? Will it work? Won't it work? Why? What's the hang up? We can do that too. So that's kind of fun when we start factoring in other people's charts. In order for me to be able to read your chart, a couple things. Obviously, this is going to be live on the internet and a public platform, so everything goes. We will sometimes get into some nitty-gritty stuff, so you've been forewarned. This is a great opportunity to showcase a little bit about how my readings work and maybe convince you to maybe want to book a reading with me. If you have seen my work before and you want to get on my books, check out my link below, beyondtheveiltarot.com. I also have all my social media stuff out there as well if you want to get on my schedule. I'm usually booked out about a month and a half to 2 months in advance. So I've got some spots left in August if you want to chat with me. Might be a good idea, especially if you are a Leo or an Aquarius rising, because there is just jam-packed stuff happening in the next month. Now, for me to be able to read your chart, I will pull it up live on my software. I need exactly when, so the day, month, and year you were born, the time, and the location. Most of you astrology nerds like me, you already know this information by heart. If you're just now learning more about astrology and you want more insight, I'm happy to chat with you. If you cannot find this information, 2 ideas: call your mom, okay, or a family member who would know, or check a birth certificate. It should give you that information, at least if you were born in the States. Most of the more recent birth certificates for the last 30, 40 years, you'll be able to find that information. If not, no worries. We could do a solar chart. It's not going to be as exact, so I would try to find that information, circle back for another live, or you can book a reading with me. If not, you can also send me an email and we can get you set up to do a rectification. We'll try to rectify your birth time, figure out what time you were born. We'll ask you a series of questions and we'll figure it out. Hey, Kobe. Thank you, J-Lo. Thanks, Kobe. Appreciate it, guys. How's everybody doing? You guys doing well? I'm going to check. I guess I should be on top of this. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up my PayPal and see if we've got anybody that wanted to purchase a reading. Just let me know, because sometimes PayPal's kind of glitchy. So if you're like, hey, I sent you a payment, just let me know. That way I don't overlook you. Otherwise, you can check out the super chat. We have super chat set up as well. All right, so let's get this going. Roundhouse kick to the like button. Are any of my monthly supporters here? I know that Catherine and I keep playing like comment tag. Like, I've seen her pop on a couple times and she's like, I'm in Greece. I want to make sure that I get you. Are you here? And then also Sam, I know Sam was like actually popped on over to the Midheaven. We were doing the Midheaven live. I think he's subscribed to mine, but he was asking questions about stuff on that channel. But you're subscribed to mine. So either one of you guys, if you're here, let me know. I am happy to do the reading for you. I'm trying to remember for Catherine. Oh, she's probably sleeping. Okay, so try me next week, okay? Or send me your information so I'll have it in advance. So if you want to leave a comment in your birth information for the astrology stuff, I can do that for you. So just let me know. Let's see. I don't think I have that information. I'm looking for it. Hello. How's everybody doing? Starting to wonder if I threw you guys off a little bit because usually I'm here on Fridays. Sorry. I'm sorry. I had to change my schedule up. But don't worry, I'll be back. Probably next Saturday will be good for some people too because you guys aren't going to be working. So those of you guys who are just tuning in, let me know. We're going to be doing astrology Q&A questions if you know your birth information. I see some people in the chat. What are you guys up to? If you guys have questions about transits and aspects too, I'm happy to share the knowledge, even if it's not on a specific chart. If you have a question, obviously the more specific we can get with your chart, the better. Some of the things that we've got going on this month is just like wild. I was looking over my notes just from the video that I just did. It's like, I don't know if you guys are aware, but like I said, that full moon that we're having, we're going to have a full moon in the first degree of Aquarius, and then next month we're going to have a full moon in the last degrees of Aquarius. So anybody who's got like an Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising, Leo, sun, moon, and rising, heck, even Taurus and Scorpio, they're really going to feel it because they're going to get kind of hit by some of these squares. We can talk a little bit about how it's affecting each of the signs. You'll get a more detailed video on Monday, so make sure you tune in for that. Just bought some flowers for myself. That's good self-love. Self-care practice. I do the same thing. I try to buy flowers for myself every week. Like little amateur florist over here. All right, let's see what I just got here. Oh, looks like I do have Catherine Murray's info. Awesome. Okay, so I can, okay, cool. Perfect, perfect, perfect. She's not here, but good morning. I'm going to assume this is you waking up right now. So let's get her information in and we can do her reading. So 11/22/67. So this is for you, Catherine. And that's at 22:30. So that's like what, 10:30? Yeah. Essex, UK. So let me pull your chart up. Leo ascendant in Western, Scorpio moon, Sun, Scorpio. Wow, 29 degrees. Had a motorbike accident, 3 disc injuries in a lower back, and I'm training daily. It's very hard, money worries. Okay, so let's look at that info and see what you've got going on. Thanks, Micah. No worries. No worries, guys. Take your time. I have not seen Full Bloom. I don't really watch a lot of TV. I'm kind of weird. I like sports, but there's no football right now. So I've been watching baseball, but I don't know. I'll get into stuff sometimes. It depends on what it is. I like to watch a lot of documentaries. I read a lot. I listen to like a lot of like audiobooks and stuff. But what's it about? Tell me. That's like my dream. I have like a 4th house stellium. I should have been a florist. That's one of my little babies right here. Okay. Thank you, Micah, or you're up next. This is going to be for our friend Catherine. So she mentioned she had an accident, issues with her back, that's Leo, and also that she's stressed out about money. So let's look at both of these things for you. So let's talk about your back first. Leo rules the back. It deals with that. So we're going to look at aspects that are happening to your sun. And then we'll head on over to your money house. And I've got some good news for you, actually, because well, there's some Venus-Jupiter oppositions, and there's going to be some energy moving into your second that can be better for that. So first things first, healing, right? We look at aspects from Saturn. To me, it looks like the last month has been very challenging for you, Catherine. And part of that is because you have had the opposition of Mars and Venus in your 12th house, which does deal with healing, especially in your chart. It's like resting, retreating, taking it easy, the psychological effect that happens as a result of us having issues physically. And especially like if I go back in time, when Venus and Mars came into an opposition with your Saturn, that seems like it was quite tense in early July. Actually, the Mars opposition hit first. So July 1st, the first couple of days were really rocky in this chart because you saw Mars and Venus come into an opposition with Saturn in your health sector and then square Uranus. So I'm wondering, like, has the injury also affected your ability to work, or is it painful to work? Are you realizing that you can't maintain a normal work schedule? You mentioned something about training. Like, are you going through a training physically, or is it a work training? Let me know. The good news is that for the most part, now that these squares are out of the way, it's like you're out of the fire, but you're still in the burning house. You're still going to be dealing with these health back challenges as long as you're having squares between Saturn, ruler of your house of health, and Uranus in your midheaven. I do feel like it's going to manifest as like changes in your workout routine or your daily routine, your schedule, how you work, where you work, and it may intensify when the sun, because that's your chart ruler, comes into an opposition with Saturn. Listen to what Mars and Venus is telling you right now in your 12th house. There is more of a need to like heal and recuperate, especially because these are in solar signs. So Leo is the ruler of the sun. Once the sun really moves out of Cancer, right now it's more emotional. Then we see like the physical healing that I think is going to begin. So dates of mention that I would really pay attention to is going to be this renewal that will come from the sun meeting the moon. And that's going to be July 26th. I wonder if that's going to manifest as you getting some kind of treatment, seeing a doctor, needing some alignment, needing some care, needing some TLC. I think that that's definitely how this is going to manifest. So that'll be from about July 26th until Mercury joins the bunch. You may have to pay for some kind of a treatment, or there may be something going on where you're like kind of stressed out about money, but you need this treatment, or you need some kind of like rehab on it, or you need to go to the doctor. Look for that the 29th. Just be really mindful of your health. And that opposition is quite the opposition that's going to be happening on August 10th. Now, these days are important. August 1st. This day is important because that's when the sun and Mercury, so the ruler of your chart and also the ruler of your second house of value, worth, things that might cost, healing that might cost, stress about the finances, you'll feel it. But I'm really looking at August 1st all the way up until the sun and Mercury square off with Uranus. Okay, so it's going to be a bit of like an action-packed first week of August. To me, it seems kind of reminiscent of what happened in July when we had that same opposition and square take place with Mars and with Venus. So that's going to be the most sensitive part. And then things kind of start to shift. They start to turn for the better. I think that things might get a little bit easier. Once we have seen that the Leo new moon has taken place, 7th and the 8th, and then things should ease up a little bit. I'm not saying it's like full-blown healing. I actually feel like for that, we need to look at positive aspects between Saturn and maybe even positive aspects to your moon. Here's the challenge that I see happening overall for the next 2 years in your chart, just to keep it real. Saturn will square off with your sun, which is, you know, your chart ruler and your health ruler for the better part of like the next year or two. Every single time Saturn in Aquarius gets up to about, let's say, you know, 27 degrees of Aquarius, you're going to feel the square to your sun. And it can have you feeling kind of moody. It can have you kind of feeling like you're stuck at home. And Saturn is that ruler of the 6th house. So your routine needs to change, or maybe you need help or you need assistance. Part of me wonders, can you work from home? Is there a way for you to change your schedule? Is this the universe's way of pushing you to make changes in your health routine or pushing you to make changes in your work routine? That seems to be the bigger purpose. When we look at you from like a Scorpio perspective, because you just barely made it there, girl. You're the last couple minutes of Scorpio. For Scorpios, Saturn is in the quote-unquote 4th house, which is the home zone, and it's coming into squares in opposition with Uranus. So you'll hear a lot of horoscopes say, okay, Scorpio, like, you know, stuff's going on at home, or you need to help family, or you need family to take care of you, or you need to move, or it's about home and emotions, and squaring with Uranus is relationships. So in your case, it can be like, is there stress because you don't have somebody who can help take care of you? Is there stress because you're feeling like you're really realizing like, man, situations like this, I wish I had a partner, or I wish I had a more supportive partner. I could see that manifesting. You also want to pay close attention because there is going to be an eclipse in November around the 19th. That's going to be in the later degrees of Taurus. So it will oppose your sun and it will square off with the ascendant and the descendant. I would recommend with a chart like this, if you're open to it, to like probably having somebody analyze your chart, especially for your solar return, so for your birthday this year, because you are going into a year where you will experience Saturn square your sun. A square is pressure, and it's actually kind of like a stop sign or a slowing down. So it's trying to get you to slow down and consider your 6th house. Slow down and consider where you're working, how you're working. Does it work for you? Pay attention to your health and how it's making you feel emotionally, right? Like that's a big thing. Second, you're going to have a Venus retrograde in your 6th house of health. Venus rules your 3rd, and it also rules your 10th. So there may be documents, paperwork, something that you have to sign at the end of this year that may make shifts and changes in whether or not you can work, if you should be going to work, if you can work at a distance, if you can work remotely, if you can work by phone or computer. Those are 2 times that I would really pay attention. In regards to money, I have a little bit more positive stuff going on here for you. So Mercury rules your money house. Jupiter moving into Pisces, it's going retrograde now, but when it really moves into Pisces and it comes into a trine with your Mercury, I feel like that can be assistance, support, especially come the beginning of next year, making more money. That can be some kind of partnership that wants to help make you more money. Jupiter transit your 8th house can be benefactors. I feel like also, you know, with this Saturn square to your sun, all year this year, you're experiencing Saturn square to your Mercury first. So it wants to get you to rethink your mindset and how you communicate and what you think and what you believe about money. It also wants to get you really moving and shaking and really evaluating what is a necessity when it comes to your 3rd house. Do you need the expensive car? Does it make sense to get rid of the car payment? Does it make sense to not always buy the brand new iPhone? Are there situations where you do need to update your computer or a technology if you're working with those things? So it's kind of like you have to weigh out those options. But it's a lot about how you communicate and how you talk about money and whether or not you have support that may come from a friend, a partner, if it comes from a family member like a sibling or an aunt or an uncle. I could see lots of neighbors who want to be helpful with you if you would ask for help. So keep that in mind. But what I'm really liking about your chart is, well, a couple things. Venus is about to move into Virgo here very soon. So when Venus conjuncts Jupiter, you may see something because Jupiter rules your 5th house of gains. It's actually more likely to bring you a romantic partner, so look out. But when the Jupiter conjunction passes, and then Venus moves into your second, that can be lovely for money because it's activating, your house of resources, what you bring in. So that's going to be happening for you right around the beginning of August. And what's cool is actually this will trine with Uranus, and this will also eventually come into aspects with Pluto. So that can be huge transformations in your resources. So look for this to be kind of moving and shaking the immediate first couple of days of August. Ironically, you have that transit when you had the more stressful ones. And then shortly after, it will come into a trine with Pluto right around here with the moon. You might have a trigger point August 10th where, there can be some like stability coming with finances around August 10th. And then it's building into a trine the next couple of days with Pluto. So big transformations of money, resources, the heart, support, something comes through. Shortly after, Mars is going to go into your second house. So pay attention to this because that can be making money or spending money. It's moving closely with Mercury. So you may have a situation the second half of August where you're like, I need the money now, and it's there. Or somebody says, you need to pay this now. It can also be spending money on travel, education, legal fees. I'm wondering, as a result of the accident, is insurance involved? Are you having to talk to an attorney? Do you have to come up with attorney fees? Are you thinking about suing? Are you being sued? Is that a thing? So if it is a thing, pay attention to right around the 18th. And then Mercury and Mars both move into your second house. Makes me feel like support might come from a family member or a neighbor or a friend because it's activating your natal Mercury in the third. Part of Scorpio Mercury's this year also with the square from Saturn is changing their thinking, learning to communicate, not shutting down, asking for help. Anyway, hope that was helpful. I hope you're healing. Leave comments below. Let me know if that helped you. Sorry that we missed you. I wish I could have talked to you one-on-one. We've got Micah here. A reality show for florists. Well, I definitely want to watch that. Okay, so let me reboot this. Okay. All right, so Micah, thank you. Let me put your info in. I was wondering about next year and if I'll be settling down and starting a family. If not, what is the major theme next year for me? Good question. Appreciate your donations. Thank you, Micah. Okay, so 3/10/1992. So you're kind of like in Saturn return land, so you're thinking a lot about this right now, huh? The things that you do those years are pretty big. I'll do it, Kobe. Send it to me. Okay, so St. Louis at 3:35 a.m. St. Louis. Okay, 3:10/1992, 3:35 a.m. Okay, just let me know this looks good, Micah. So I've got you here, Cap rising, Sun in Pisces. I think we talked about this year being a big year for you, because I remember like doing a reading for you like probably a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years ago, and talking to you about some of the things that were going to play out as a result of your Saturn return. And so let's talk about that. So you're born in, let's see, 92. So you had your birthday already in March. So you're in your 29th year. It's your Saturn return. Bottom line, Saturn's on your ascendant. Pay attention to your body. Lots of independence. It's been my experience for seeing Cap risings for 92 that there's a lot of holding back in relationship stuff for some reason this year. Not that you're not going to have a relationship, but it's more about making sure it's the right person, maintaining your standards, being really clear about what you want and not settling, okay? And like, girl, Saturn hasn't even hit your Venus yet. So just wait and see how that goes, because that's always very colorful. The good news is that Saturn's your chart ruler, and Saturn conjunctions are about power, authority. It's about maturity, coming into your own. It's very personal, especially when it's hitting those conjunctions in your first house, your body even. So the question is about settling down. I'm kind of going about this in a roundabout way, but the truth is that your 30th year, according to annual perfections, is a 7th house year. 7th house being marriage, commitment. I see a lot of people who, 29 to 30, not just because of their Saturn return, but they have some shift that happens, right? Traditionally, Saturn is the ruler of the 10th. So it's about, how we're growing up. It affects the ascendant, it affects the marriage house, it affects the family house. So it doesn't matter your aspects to Saturn. There is some level of like leveling up and maturing. But from your birthday, March of 2022, until your birthday of March of 2023, that is a year that's all about your 7th house. So you want to study when planets move through your 7th house. So it'll be really active in several different ways. When there's transits to your moon, which I'm going to tell you are getting triggered, and you're also going to look at when planets go through your 7th house. So I want you to be aware of the end of Taurus season in 2022, when planets hit your moon, because it's going to deal with where you're living. It's going to deal with if you meet somebody through family, if you meet somebody close to home, if you meet somebody because you moved, if you moved because of somebody, that'll get activated. Also, there's about to be an eclipse on your moon. That November eclipse in mid-November, it's going to be exactly conjunct your moon, and then the North Node is going to hit that. Which means like your person is coming in hot, especially from, let's say, March through like July of 2022. You can meet them sooner, but you have all the activations in your chart, especially when the moon rules your 7th house and it's in the 4th. Something about moving and domestic stuff or family stuff will trigger something pertaining to you meeting them. So look at the end of Taurus season and look at pretty much all of like Cancer and Leo for next year. The other thing I will say is that, this is happening while Saturn comes into conjunction with your Venus, which is the ruler of your 4th house. And it's going to square your moon, and then it's going to, do all kinds of stuff with Pluto. So you have a very complicated, kind of complex T-square. You're somebody who's definitely going to get hit a little bit harder in this next year. So be mindful that if it doesn't work for you, if it's not honoring you, if it's conflicting with your family beliefs, if family doesn't like them, if you won't move for them, if they won't move for you and or your career, kind of the focal point when I look at your chart really is Venus. So it's more about where do you want to live? How do you want to feel? Is a family important to you? Definitely if you've got a heavy 2nd house or 4th house, it's very kind of Taurus, Cancer vibe, and that's all about family and security and feeling safe. Here's the positive stuff that's going on is that Jupiter's hanging out on your Venus for a hot minute. It's squaring your moon. So it's really about how do you feel about yourself? How are you taking care of yourself? Do you feel good in your own skin? Are you feeling complete even without a partner? And then it's going to move into Pisces. And this is where I think the trigger point happens. This is how astrology works. You have to look for it a couple different ways. We see Jupiter coming into a conjunction with Juno, planet of marriage. We also see Jupiter is going to conjunct your sun. Jupiter can, in a woman's chart, be indications of a man or a husband coming in. So it really heats up right around the new year when Jupiter comes into conjunction. Here's what else is cool. You've got like a double kind of like I call it like a Cinderella transit when Venus conjuncts with Juno, or when Jupiter conjuncts with Juno, you have both. Jupiter and Juno were married, by the way. Jupiter, was always out there and kind of hooking up with whoever he was hooking up with because he could. And Juno was the good wife, right? She stayed committed and she was the ideal wife. So in a way, it's kind of saying like, there is something going on right now that you're perfecting within your boundaries, your body, yourself, where you're redefining who you are, even if that means being alone, even if that means being a lone wolf, even if that means being different. And in the process of that, part of what's going on is you are actually becoming this perfect mate for another person. So you'll keep feeling the strong pull to like stay committed to like, no, I'm different, I'm independent, it's okay, I'm on my own. Or this feeling of whoever has been coming in isn't good enough, so you won't commit. It's more about you, how you feel, and where you live. So just keep that in mind. But this like magical transit, and you'll have to let me know how it works, because I've seen this combination happen for a number of my clients, and I always tell them like, whoa, when you have this sequence that kind of heats up, somebody shows up. I guarantee somebody will show up. Actually, this happened to me twice with the same person, and it's like wild. So I'm telling you, it will happen. So you want to look for this when Mars and Venus move into Aquarius and when Jupiter is conjunct your Jupiter. So, or your Juno. So this is going to be in March of 2022. Right around here. So maybe starting right at the end of March. And you need a moon transit to trigger this. So let's say, give or take, maybe the 27th of March is the hot zone. Clear until Jupiter leaves your sun. So it's really hot until, maybe mid-April, because Mars and Venus is there. And then Venus is going to show up, and it's going to move into Pisces. And it'll come into conjunction with Jupiter, which I love, right around here, April 21st. And then it will also hit your sun. So let's say April 21st is a hot spot. Clear until it leaves that zone. And that'll be, maybe right around here, the 26th. So yes, somebody will show up, but like I said, I see more of the commitment stuff that I think that's going to happen more so from your birthday on. So you definitely want to look at a solar return for that, just to get a better idea of what's going to be shaping up. What works nicely for you is all that Pisces trines your 7th house, all that Pisces sextiles your ascendant. So you might meet somebody who's like, I got a place, come and move and be with me, right? And it may be hard for that moon to resist. I also feel like you need a really strong Mercury transit to produce family or children. Jupiter is going into Aries. It will conjunct your 5th house ruler in the 2nd. So it's about money and values. And if you have enough, it might be about whether or not you have somewhere stable to put roots down. I would say this year is going to be more, I think, about settling into the relationship and moving. Then like 2023, once you have Jupiter on your Mercury ruler of the 5th, and then maybe we see like the Mars retrograde that's going to happen the end of 2022 going 2023, it can be about pregnancy, but you want to confirm that with a solar return chart. You want to confirm that also with a solar return. And that, my friends, you get when you get a reading. So we will look through all of the different types of charts to really ensure and make sure that what I'm seeing is actually going to come to fruition. One other thing I'll say is you can't go wrong with a Jupiter opposition. So you're getting ready to have Jupiter oppose Jupiter at an 8, which definitely deals with pregnancy. So I have a feeling can be something where you meet that person and you're like, I want these things. And they're like, okay, let's, get situated. Let's find a house. Let's get stable. Let's save some money. But it definitely, a lot of really magical things can come together in a 7th house here. It's very lovely. Yeah, it's going to be a big, big year. Finally got clear on what I want in a relationship and a family sense of things are going well financially for me, so I'm kind of nervous but excited. It's going to be fine. It's going to be really exciting. I'm really excited. Hi, Wendy. Nice to see you. Thanks, Rachel. I'll take a look. Learning to love your body more the last few months. Saturn in the 1st with Venus is... Any Saturn-Venus contact in itself is challenging. But when it's in the 1st house, it's more so about the physical body and how you feel in your own skin and like how you carry yourself and like what energy and what work you put into like, your appearance, because it's the 1st house, and learning to love yourself and all of the things that make you different because it's Aquarius. I know it's hard. I have Saturn conjunct Venus too. And I feel like when I had my Saturn return / Saturn Venus transit, probably one of the harder periods of my life thus far. It was really hard for like self-esteem, and so my hair started going gray because I have Venus in Capricorn, and I just like had a whole like thing about it, and I just went through a year of just like not being happy with anything. But the Saturn return, post-Saturn Venus conjunction glow up is like a real thing. Like, you don't believe me? Go look at videos of me in 2017. I look like a completely different person. A lot of it was just finally getting Saturn out of Capricorn and getting it off of all of that stuff, and feeling like there was a lot of maturity that I was like not aligning with or not accepting. And once I did, everything changed. Totally brighten up. My in-person session, well, my in-person sessions, my Zoom sessions, I have clients all over the world, half an hour or an hour. I do have other ones, like a Saturn return reading can be about 90 minutes, and I do Synastry and composite, but half an hour or an hour is what I offer for you guys. I cut off all my hair and did it so much for my mental clarity and confidence. Yeah, I mean, like for real, like literally Saturn is like trimming, right? So what are you trimming? If you've got Saturn, Mars, and Venus, you're trimming this feeling like, you know, you need to be fighting with yourself about your body. You're trimming your hair. You might be feeling like you want to use your body in different and unique ways. It's also about how your emotions affect how your body moves. And you do all that aerial yoga and all that stuff, right? So obviously you're in touch with that and like moving your body around, but being around other people, Aquarius, who are doing that, maybe teaching classes or going to those with friends, and kind of feeling like you're around other people who are also really trying to prioritize self-love, self-care, and acceptance is definitely the answer. Okay, got it. Awesome. I look forward to talking to you soon. Kobe, you went bald in your Saturn return. I'm kind of excited to look at your chart. I have not seen your chart before, so... Oh, little babes. Tennessee, do you still live there? Do you have an accent? That's all I wanted. That's all I really care about. All right, let's see. March 15th, 1990. Lots of little Pisces in the house. $1990, and that was at 2:58 a.m. So, I don't know how you do your solar returns. I've always kind of done them for where I'm going to spend most of the year. Some people say you can, you know, change it depending on where you go for your birthday. For years, I've studied going somewhere for your birthday for your solar return, having it in the place where you usually reside, and recently my mind has been blown. It's changed the way that I look at everything, and I'm going to show you how I do it. Solar return from where you were born, because that is the anchor of your chart, and I'll show you how I do it. So it's probably a little bit different than how you've done it. Donaldson, is that how you pronounce that? Donaldson. So I'm gonna make this whole house, Kobe. Not usually what I do. I'm a rebel. I like Placidus, but yeah, not this time. So this will be. Oh, we got to do your solar return. Duh. Sorry. There we go. So this will be from this year until March of next. Oops. What am I doing? Sorry. Okay, so this is your solar return from... Why isn't it giving it to me? Hello? Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Solar return, year 2021. There we go. I guess I didn't hit the year. Sorry. So let's see. Wow, it's still not doing it. This is so weird. Let's see if I can get this. Third time's the charm. Solar return. If I can't get this, then I am going to, well, then you're not going to be able to see it. Let's see. I wonder if it has something to do with my tablet. Oh, there we go. So there's your progressed. Sorry, guys. There we go. 2021. Okay, let's try this again. Donaldson. Thanks for staying with me. Okay, this should work. There we go, solar return. Okay. So this is your solar return for March 14th. That was your actual birthday, 2021. This will be in action until March of 2022. All right. So when we look at your chart, we look at the rising sign, which is Leo, drama, creativity, romance, children, self-expression. It's going to put a real focus on what is going on with your sun, okay? Because it is the ruler. Thank you. Yeah, I have an accent if you're not from here. Okay, I wanted. Oh, your lunar return. Okay, we can do your lunar return. Where are you living? Let me know so I can put that information in. The lunar return, I will do it for where you're going to be for the next month. Sorry, for some reason I thought you said solar return. Might be a bit of a delay. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. Just let me know where. Thank you. Tennessee. There we go. All right, so those of you guys who are just tuning in, we are going to look at Kobe's lunar return, which is kind of exciting. All right, because we don't really do a lot of that on here. Lunar return, very similar to a solar return. This is going to be a focus on what's going on in Kobe's life for the next month. So we kind of break it down and analyze it the same way. Keep in mind that the moon moves faster than any other planet in the chart. So it's going to talk about where there's most action depending on where his moon lands. So your lunar return will be July 18th, 2021. Gives you a Gemini rising, obviously a moon in Scorpio. Your lunar return is very similar to your solar. It comes back to the degree of where your moon is. And Mercury hanging out in Cancer, coming into, you know, some sextiles with Uranus. So it can be really great for, first of all, business, business, money, money that goes into where you're living or domestic stuff. Mercury being at a 10 also is going to be a lot of managing your thoughts and your feelings, how you feel about resources, how you feel about family, right? And then we look at the aspects that it's making. So it's making that sextile to Uranus, which is kind of cool. Might be a great month for inventive ideas that come from meditation, come from dreams. It's like, oh, I think this will be a good idea. I was just thinking about this the other day, and what if I incorporated this and I'm able to make more money? So that's cool. You've also got that in a trine to your moon. So Mercury trine the moon can have you in your feelings, can have you in your emotions, can have you talking more. Moon in the 6th in opposition to Uranus tells me that you need to change something up with your routine. Being that it's ruled by Mars and Mars is in the 3rd with Venus, it may manifest as you being like, I need to go for a drive. I need to get out of the house. I need to get out of town briefly. I need to go and see friends on the other side of town. Or I've got friends that are actually going somewhere. That moon is in a stressful angle to Uranus. So it tells me that there is some emotional growth that's going on. It's a little uncomfortable. Sometimes when you see like a 6th house moon, it's like an emphasis and a focus on getting your schedule under control, getting your diet under control, committing to a new either emotional or physical routine. Hey, Mags. Lots of epiphanies. Yeah, there's going to be more. I mean, whenever the moon opposes Uranus, especially if you have a Scorpio moon, to me, that's like triggering a crisis every month when Uranus is, until Uranus is a couple more degrees away. So, you know, I'm sure Uranus is going to retrograde back to about 10 degrees later this year. So every single time you have a lunar return, it's important to watch because you're seeing where there's conversations between your moon and Uranus are happening. Like, do I need to change the way that I'm reacting to things? Do I need to move? Is there something going on with my resources? Scorpio represents other people's money, other people's problems, other people's energy, other people's vibes. And Taurus is about what's yours. So you're picking up a lot collectively this month. So just be mindful that it can have your sleep schedule a little more erratic than usual. And it's moving into this T-square also with Saturn. So something's changing about your beliefs this month. Thank you, Tsunami. I will be with you shortly. Accurate as fuck. I just bought a new car. Maybe I'll get an Airbnb in Vegas and come kick it with you and Mike. Yes, come visit. It's gonna be so hot here, but it's crazy. I have so many people who have been texting me. They're like, I'm gonna be in Vegas in August. So yeah, come visit us. But yeah, the Mars and Venus in your third house is like, yo, look at this car. Right? And like showing the car off. I don't see you going far distances yet because you have Saturn in the opposition. But I definitely think that just a change of space and pace can really shift your whole perspective. And that doesn't mean you have to travel. It can also mean that you're like, I'm going to go and work from a cafe for a couple days this week and see if it changes my vibe, right? So that can definitely be something that opens something up for you and gets you just thinking differently. I also love that the North Node is in your first house in this chart, ruled by Mercury, really putting what you believe or where you want to go or what you have to say on the map, making it valuable. So it's really great for like money-making ideas and opportunities. It's in a trine to Saturn in your ninth. So something that you're sharing with people, that you're telling people, I say go for it. Look at Jupiter conjunct the midheaven here, ruler of the seventh. So you need to be seen in some way. You need to partner up with people in some way, even if it's not romantically. Like literally what you just said, oh, I'm going to come, maybe I'll come visit you guys. That's very Jupiter, midheaven, Sag, 7th. It's like, I'm willing to go the distance and to focus on what you value. And so I think that as long as Mercury is in a water sign, it's really kind of building off of, you know, the sun in Cancer. It's also really saying, what do you value? What's most important to you? I could see some like emotional eating this month with the sun sitting in the second house and Mercury's in the second house and it's in opposition to Pluto, right? So like asking yourself about your habits, your patterns, how you're sleeping, how you're eating. Do you go through periods of not eating? Like sometimes Scorpio moons can do that. Or if you have an 8th house moon, you'll like emotionally be going through stuff and you won't even realize that you don't eat. And then you'll fall off and there can be some like binge eating. Although I think you're a Capricorn rising. So you may not have that issue as much as other people. This is just for right now. But you still have Scorpio moon. So it's very Hades moon-ish. Lean into that moon trine Mercury, please. Trine Jupiter. Such good opportunities for business. Healthier routines, healthier day-to-days. Yeah, you should. Yeah, I mean, listen, if you want to do that and if you're savvy enough astrologically, I haven't really like spoken to you one-on-one, but if that's something that you're capable of doing, Jupiter on your ascendant can be super knowledgeable. It can be a time where like you're like, and I know the answer to this, I know the answer to that. If you have that. I won't say your comment, but I see it. Hey, Sam. We have you on deck. So we've got a couple people. Love Tsunami. And looks like Rachel. But Sam, hang around. I'll make sure you get your reading. Send me your birth information and let me know what your question is. And I will get you in ASAP. Nice to see you. We were talking about you earlier in the chat on the video. I was like, where's Sam? He was on the midheaven. And yeah, I felt bad because I was like, ooh, you're on my channel. Kobe, you gotta get with the program. You gotta get with the program. I think it can be really great. Remember that part of taking care of yourself emotionally is also not always eating all the garbage. And this is coming from somebody with a 2nd and a 4th house stellium. So I get it. But so much of self-care doesn't have to be like Cheetos and Haagen-Dazs. It can be like you have some carrots and some hummus and a face mask. Hopefully that's helpful. This is good. I really want you to try it this month with Mercury trying Jupiter, trying the moon. You can really be of service in that way. You might have people that ask you questions about, romantic stuff, obviously, but you might have people who ask a lot of questions about money, work, career, vocation, and yeah, some health stuff too. If it's not your health stuff, people can be asking that stuff because of the trine to Mercury, if that makes sense. You'll have to let me know if you make it out here. Excited to potentially see you. All right, so now we are going to move over to, I think, Rachel. Let me check my little PayPal. Okay, and I see Elizabeth. No. So where did Rachel come from? Rachel. Let's see. I saw your comment. Let me see if I can find you. So weird that my PayPal's not showing anybody. I'm sure you guys sent it. My PayPal is just being psycho. Give me just a second here. There we go. Okay, I see you. Okay. So we've got Stephanie asked a question, Rachel asked a question, we've got Ginger Box, and we also need to get Sam. So just stay with me, guys. Stephanie and then Rachel. Stephanie actually popped in. Stephanie, are you still here? Let me know. Rachel, I'll be right with you, Rachel, I promise. Just hang tight. Let me get Stephanie's info. I'm just answering them in the order that they came in, so not playing favorites, don't worry. June 30th, 83. And that was at 12:57 p.m. in Brooklyn. Okay, 57 p.m. in Brooklyn. Let me know what your question is so I can take a look at this for you. June 30th, 1983, 12:57 p.m. Okay. What questions do you have for me? What can I answer for you? I see you, Rachel. Oh, that's you. Okay. Had a possible job opportunity come up and wanted to focus on how it would turn out, or should I focus on minding my own business? Okay, thanks, Stephanie. Ooh, so you're a Libra rising. All right, there's some stuff happening here for you. It's interesting that you say your own business, okay? This is like a big thing that's going on with Libra risings right now. Saturn's in your 5th house. That's really putting a focus on your own personal creativity, expansion, if you are self-employed, what you're working on, stuff like that. The truth is like regardless of what you do, in the new year, once Jupiter fully moves into Pisces, you're going to enjoy the kind of work that you're doing more so. Your schedule will be better. So whether you're working for yourself or you're working for someone else, you're going to enjoy it. My thing here is that you're having activations as a result of the eclipse from last year. So it makes me feel like it's more about your business. Look at your Sun and your Mars and Mercury also on your midheaven. I'm not saying it couldn't have been a lucrative offer, but I feel very strongly that it's more about your business. Why? Because the moon rules your 10th house and it's located in the 6th and Jupiter is there. What do you do? Do you mind me asking? Okay, let me see. I'm going through everybody here. Or should I just focus on building your own business? Kobe asks, I'm kind of curious about how that Juno is going to play out. It's sextile native Venus. Also, Kobe, you have Lilith on your ascendant in that chart. So it's going to be about you getting obsessed with someone or someone getting obsessed with you. Yeah, Sam, just send me your info here. Just send me your birthday, year, exact time, and city, please. And I will add you to the list. You guys are funny. But yeah, I mean, personally, I would say that, you know, just the fact that Jupiter is fully coming into Pisces at the end of this year, beginning of 2022, that's real strong expansion for your own business. Like, I don't feel inclined to tell you it's great for you to be working for other people. Not that what you got couldn't have been a thing, but you've got 2 full moons that are happening in your 5th house. And Saturn's building into a trine with your North Node, ruled by Mercury. What do you do? Very mercurial. Education, teaching, editing, publishing, travel. What do you do? And my business will be in social media. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is just my thing. I would say don't stop. Stay the path. And you'll see this for the next 2 months because of those full moons. Also because Jupiter is squaring your 3rd house, Jupiter Uranus. Like, I know you can build off into something else, but I feel like your horoscope is stronger if you stay the path. And you'll see why, because a lot of the things that you want to work on, you need the time to do it for yourself. So you're really expanding and growing into that at the end of this year. Like, Libra season on, man. Like, thanks Halloween on, because you're coming out of a Mercury retrograde in Libra. It's going to square your 10th house and your 4th house. I feel like if you take a job, you're going to overrun yourself and you're not going to get the stuff out that you want. That's just my opinion. Thanks, Ari. And look at your Mercury on your midheaven. You're phenomenal at social media. And as Jupiter comes into a trine with that, personally, I would say that you want to stay the path. Trust me, just stay the path on this. Focus on your own business. If they really want you, they'll come back and you'll have an opportunity maybe to renegotiate something like that in October, but I don't think you're going to have enough time. I also kind of feel like, you know, there's going to be some retrograde action going on in this chart. So it's almost like, you know, if things get moving and shaking here with your own business stuff, you could find by the end of the year that there's some changes going on with your home base where you have more room to work, if you don't already. Let me know. Hopefully that was helpful. We're going to get Rachel. Thanks, Rachel. Uh, 11/8/1990. And that was at 7:34 a.m. in Dallas. Let's get this back to Placidus. So, an artist who works from home, interested in important transits for your career. Got you, Rachel. Oh, that's awesome. See, if just building off of the last reading, if you already got a new desk area and you already signed up for a new course, yeah, case closed. I mean, you're making the time and the space to invest in yourself, and I know it's hard right now, but doing that and the time and the energy in the space, in the furniture, in the courses, it's all going to pay off at the end of this year. I promise you. Stick to it. Okay, so moving back to Rachel. So you got questions about being an artist, working from home, transits for your career. So let's take a look at that for you. So what's going on here? Well, you got some planets that are moving into your 10th house. So that's big for career, especially if you're an artist. Mars and Venus is definitely very creative, artistic when it's in Leo. And when it shifts into Virgo, it's about perfecting something. So look for these transits to be good for bringing more attention to your career first when it's in Leo, but then building into trines with your planets that you have in the second house. It's going to trigger opportunities for selling something, bringing more money in, getting a payout of some kind, being on stage, being seen. And this will be when first they're on your midheaven. So right around here, July 21st. But really, with that trine from Venus to the moon to Uranus, it might trigger something where you can get paid, bring some money in. And from the whole time that Venus comes into a trine with Uranus, and also I think with Neptune and with Saturn, it's more about like, you know, money for home and domestic stuff, but this is really strong for you. Through here. Really until Mars leaves the trine, but when the moon, Venus come into a trine with Pluto, watch for this on the 10th. That can be good for creativity, resources, finances. Mercury joins suit, and then the sun. So Virgo season's pretty good for you when it comes to building wealth because it's Earth trines happening in your second. Now we want to look at aspects that are happening to your natal Jupiter to be actually bringing money in. So Jupiter's hanging out in your 3rd house. It's squaring planets that you have in your 10th house and your ascendant. You know things. You have some wealth of information or knowledge. Maybe there's some reluctance to put it out there, to put it online, to put it on the internet, to put a video out, to be seen, to talk about things. You can be in full-blown writing mode too, so be mindful that this is like a lot of like research, study, writing that's going on. Social media is like a thing with this chart, like you need to be active. A lot of Scorpios and Scorpio risings, they have to show up. Right? And even it's more so for Scorpio risings than Scorpios. I'm a Scorpio, but I don't have Scorpio rising, but I've seen a lot of Scorpio risings that are really like experts in their field, and like the time is coming to like branch into social media and put their stuff out there. And some of you guys are fearful. So I don't know if there's something going on like that for you. I have no show plans for the rest of the year for round. Try not to panic. No, you're fine. 3rd house, communications, making money online or streaming. Look into possibly doing that and collaborating with other people. That can be helpful. But there's something that's coming. It's just a matter of, you know, is your time, Saturn, better spent writing right now, researching, learning, helping other people, working with other people in writing and developing music. Just because you're not performing doesn't mean that you can't be still making money in other ways. It can mean that you're going to other places, that there are gigs that you can perform, that places you can go, but it's going to require you to get outside of your usual routine. You may have to travel a little bit, get in the car and go somewhere because the planets are in the 3rd house. You'll really see this in Libra season too. So it might kind of bleed from actually August into September, October, when your 11th house gets activated with your 3rd, and you have people coming into town to visit you, or people saying, hey, I know of a gig, or can you come and perform with me, or I need somebody to help me like write something, and you may have to work with them on a call or go to them. Oh, and you're a painter. Okay. So that's also working with your hands, right? It's working with your hands. Personally, I don't see issues with the money stuff. I see the fact that Jupiter has come into a square with your Venus and also with your Pluto. It means that it's trying to align you with partnership, right? So Jupiter's like, you got to get out there, you got to talk to people, you got to partner with people. Even if you're a solo performer, maybe you're performing with other people. If you also can paint, maybe it's like, hey, I'm going to do these videos online and I'm going to do instructions on it. You might be really good at it. right? And people may want to subscribe to it. So that's something that you can consider. Get ready, girl, because Uranus is coming for an opposition to your Venus and your Pluto. That is big changes in work. Somebody may come into your life that totally radically changes the way that you look at work and what you do. Or they may say, hey, I've got some creative stuff, come work with me. Explosive things in some of the best ways happen when you see those Uranus-Venus oppositions. Somebody's going to show up in your life that's going to change everything. Or it can be romantic, it could be a partner. Focus more on TikTok. Please teach me how. I tried, man. I tried. Only a painter, no music. Okay. So consider that there is something that you're doing that you can be either putting online or that you can be sharing with people, or ways to be able to promoting what you create, what you have. You have so many yummy transits happening with Jupiter and Saturn to your Mars, ruler of the 5th house of creativity. You need other people to see your work. You need to be putting it out there. Kobe meets her at a casino, super rich. That's hilarious. Can you imagine that? Consider those courses, Rachel. Put your stuff out there. You're going to be fine. You're going to see that there's a lot of re-evaluating what's going on with resources in this next year or two for you. And I think that Jupiter-Venus opposition might be really sweet. Somebody might say, can you come to my house and paint a portrait of like me and my family? And you'd be like, that's going to be $10,000. That'll be a good transit for you. Let's see who else we've got here on my list. So that was Rachel. I've got a couple people in the queue. We've got Gingerbox. Thank you, Starry. Also, I got to pop on over to Sam, and then it'll be Ginger and Starry Ari. Sam, are you still there? I know that you've popped in a couple times. Thanks for checking in with me. All right. So 12/16/85 in Dallas, Texas. And that was at 17:33, so that's at 5. I have to do the math in my head. Sorry, guys. I don't really use military time. Oh, there we go. Okay. And that was PM, and that was in Dallas. Yeah. Got a lot of Texans here tonight. Okay, Sam, let's take a look at your chart and your question. I've been having a phase of imminent doom, something hard time with that Cap go fully releasing him. Also feeling as though love is never an option. It's my best to go into hermit mode. I've been 6 months before the pandemic. Have powers come to fruition. Socially love. Do I stick to bliss of aerial work, make ends meet? Socializing through that. Rekindle almost romantic mindset. Playfully soon. And saving my first kits for your wedding day. That's cute. I like that. Okay. All right. Well, there's a lot of stuff going on here. One thing I would say is like, just kind of honing in on all the stuff that you were asking questions about. Kind of like the best direction to go in. You know, how do you deal with this doom feeling? You're getting really hit by these eclipses, right? We've been having eclipses since last year in Gemini and Sag. So definitely there's like a lot of like personal change, and then also change that's going on pertaining to relationships that are happening. You're also in the process of Neptune in your 10th house square your sun. So it can be a lot of like, how do I think? How do I feel? I don't know. How do I feel about what I'm doing? How do I communicate and like take a stand in my life? Like how do I gain control? You're dealing with that Neptune square for a little bit. Jupiter is also going to square the mix, and that's going to bring up a lot of like relationship and status things for you next year. Personally, I don't think it's so bad if it's squaring your sun. I just feel like it might change the way that you communicate and talk about relationships, or being open to relationships, or maybe meeting somebody online, or meeting somebody while you're traveling, or somebody who's at a distance. The doom stuff that you're feeling may be more because Saturn's hanging out in your 8th house. So feeling that separation from sexual partnerships, or feeling like you need more security. But for you to be able to have sex with somebody, you need more than the physical connection. You need that intimacy, that security. Saturn has been squaring your Pluto, which is not fun. And it makes you really aware of like that energetic exchange. And certainly if you have Pluto and the South Node in your 5th house, you've had your fair share of like heartbreaks in this lifetime. Some of it's karmic. There's definitely like a hard time letting go and like releasing and letting go of people. With that North Node in Taurus in your 11th house, it's about love for friends, love with community. I'm not going to say you can't have relationships. Oftentimes the sun in the 7th house can be a delayed relationship. It can be that relationships dominate you and you have like one long one and it burns you out, and then you're like, oh my God, I'll never love again. And then somebody appears. So usually like love comes like right when you're on the verge of giving up. So I'm not telling you to give up. I'm telling you to focus on the fact that Saturn is in your 8th house, square planets in your 11th, and your nodes, separating the difference between sexual love and friendship love and relationship love, not getting yourself into situationships with friends where you don't really know where you stand. Thankfully, you come out of most of these squares to your natal planets and your nodes, and it's like you have broken through come the new year. So things are going to get a lot easier for you in that regard. I want you to pay attention to the fact that the South Node is coming for your Mercury and your Saturn. That is the ruler of your 6th. Excuse me, that's the ruler of your ascendant, so your chart ruler. And it's also the ruler of like your 8th and 9th house. So I wonder, the work that you're doing with the aerial stuff, do you want to teach? Like, do you want to be a teacher of that stuff? Is there a way to incorporate work and being of service in your daily routine and sharing this with the world? Is that how you become more so connected also to friendships, and you start to kind of fill in those potholes of feeling like you have to have a partner? Okay. Diagnosis, symptoms for what? What were you diagnosed with? This is where I say, I'm not a doctor, I'm an astrologer, but I know things. You know, anybody who's got this slew of planets in your 6th house is definitely going to have some very colorful and wild stories about what manifests it for you health-wise, right? So Saturn in the 6th can sometimes be challenges with, you know, coworkers, but it can also be health-related. In Sag, it can be hips or actual mobility. And it's also conjunct Mercury. So there is some health stuff here that got triggered because of the recent eclipse that you had in Sagittarius, and the South Node is going through there. So you may have to like rehab something, like you may have to be more focused on bringing more positive intention, thought, prayer into your daily routine, being patient with your body, paying attention to flexibility, paying attention to diet, who you work around, how you work. You know, I've seen a lot of Sages from like, it's like 85 to 87, okay? These Sagittariuses, especially the ones born the second half of December when the sun is in a conjunction to Uranus, you're Uranian. That's what you are, okay? You sun conjunct Uranus within, you know, a matter of like what, 8 degrees or so? I mean, that's a pretty close conjunction. And then you've also got, you know, Uranus is conjunct an angle by 10 degrees. Jupiter's coming into a square. So you're really wanting to change your identity in the world, how people see you. And you also want people to see you very differently for your relationships. I feel like it's the eclipse that you just had that was on your ascendant and it was in opposition to your sun, that there's like this whole shift that's going on in how you think about relationships. And I'm going to keep telling you to go towards friendships. Hips shattered with your spine. Yeah, I mean, honestly, all of the things that you're like talking about, this is very super common. A lot of hip injuries, hip issues with Sag 6th house placements, especially Saturn can be like super brittle. And then you have Venus conjunct Uranus there. I feel like by the time the South Node has left your Saturn, it's stabilizing your health more. You're also going to see that, you know, Saturn is going to transit your Jupiter. So that's going to expand all of your relationship stuff. This year has been a rocky year for you. I mean, and with the Uranus transits, the last 2 or 3 years. Yeah. Oh, Lucas, my buddy. I laughed so hard at your thing today. I'm actually going to make some trash can pictures just for you. Also, I went through your Instagram. I love all of your plants, but I really love your acrylic pours, all the cells that you're doing. They're beautiful. They're really nice. I like doing those too. It's one of my favorite things to do. Sam, I'm going to tell you, friendship love over real love right now. Things are really going to kind of shift a little bit for you in the new year. Once you get to the new year, things kind of chill out. Really pay attention for this South Node transit, because I feel like it definitely is about how mental health affects the body. And it's about when Mercury and Saturn meet with the South Node, you can kind of feel like your body's stressed out and you're kind of mentally losing it a little bit. So that's going to be a little intense for you in September. By the time the South Node leaves, you've got some more promising transits that are going to happen at the end of October, moving on for dating. So love life can improve. Watch out for the Venus retrograde that's happening in your 7th house at the end of this year too. That's going to get kind of wackadoodle. That can definitely bring somebody back from the past. Yeah, I can tell you're really strict with your diet. Do you not eat meat? Your chart makes me feel like you don't eat meat. But you're more prone to iron deficiency. So if you're not eating meat, you need to be getting that iron in another way. Yeah, but you know your North Node's in the 11th, Sam, so you have to make friends, and it's ruled by Venus, and you have Venus in the 6th, which means you're going to make friends with a lot of rad chicks, girls who are into like acupuncture and natural treatments, probably like herbalism. They probably know a lot about Ayurvedic stuff. Like they're going to know a lot about health and wellness, but holistic and stuff that's very culturally based. There's a lot of these women that are going to start coming into your life here very soon. Hopefully that was helpful. Okay. I'm going to make sure I don't forget anybody. We've got Gingerbox, and we have Starry Ari, and then we're going to get to Lucas, and then we're probably going to call it a wrap on the readings after Lucas. So last call for you guys. Hope you get this. I was unable to chat with you on YouTube. Not sure why. Gingerbox 7982 1023. Oh, hopefully you're still here, Gingerbox. Let me know. That's your name on PayPal. I don't know, but you didn't tell me if it's AM or PM. That's really important. So let's see if I can get this back from you. And you asked, when is the energy going to ease up? I have an intense decade with Pluto cardinal opposition square energy. 2015 was the most intense when Mars and Uranus were in Aries. Stuff came up with work, a recent Gemini eclipse on top of my natal Venus in the 10th. Long story short, difficulty with a nurse survivor who won't directly work with, but she can cover amount. I'm a registered nurse for insurance company. Path. Hope this might be helpful. Okay, are you here? Oh, you are vegan. Stay on it. We go with the original information that would be on your birth certificate, Sam. Okay, asking for you, Gingerbox. I know you asked me this question, but I need to know if you're AM or PM. So pop on in. I'm going to move on to Starry. Hopefully we hear back from you. Starry, I should just save your information. Let's see. I should just save you on here so that way I have you forever because you pop in quite a bit. Let's see. November 30th, 1984, Harbor City. And that was at 10:58 p.m. And that was in Harbor City. Insights into business for you, Ari. Thank you for your donation. Does this look right to you? 10:58 p.m. Virgo rising, all these planets in your 4th. Business, well, okay, a couple things. I'm going to kind of hit things in a couple different angles. Right now, you got Mars and Venus that are coming into conjunction with your ascendant. So it's great because it's really bringing a lot of like emotional connection to the work that you're doing, but it's squaring your ascendant. It's squaring your midheaven and your IC. So that's like a pressure cooker. Like there's something that's going to happen here where I would really pay attention. Well, it's happening kind of now, but when Venus gets to about that 27 degrees, right about here, pay attention to July 19th through the 29th, that 10-day period. There's pressure just to be seen, show up in the world, talk about your feelings. You might talk and be sharing stories and things that have happened to you personally, or things that didn't pan out for you personally, like with the world. Like might have a client, you might have a reading where you're like, I've been through this and this is what happened for me. It's about vulnerability and putting yourself out there a little bit more. Also, number 2, you have all of these planets making their way into Virgo. So eventually it's going to hit that 2nd house. It's going to come into a trine with your North Node in the 9th. It's also going to come into a trine with all those yummy planets in the 5th house. Are you wanting to teach? Are you wanting to lecture? Are you wanting to put out a program? Are you wanting to do some kind of training? Are you going to become a mentor? Do you want to be mentored? What's going on? Talk to me. There's an eclipse on your midheaven, okay? I remember talking to you about this and being like, yo, something is coming here. This is going to be a moment in time because of this square. Something will happen where you're put in the limelight or you're put on the spot. You have to be putting yourself out there, setting the stage for Scorpio season for you to get ready to launch everything out into work. Really, it's like if you need to deal with emotional stuff, if you're dealing with not wanting to be seen, if you're hiding, if you need to deal with family stuff, domestic stuff to make it possible, don't you have to finish moving or have something going on in your home? Do I remember that correctly? It's been happening and I'm screaming in my head because you're super private. There's nothing super private about your chart, babe. Sorry. You can't get any better than this. You've got your North Node conjunct your 10th house, your midheaven, ruled by Venus, Venus in the 5th, trining all of that, conjunct Jupiter in the 5th. My favorite people are Venus-Jupiter conjunctions in the 5th house. You got to take risks in the stock market, in love, with children, with your creative projects. And, Uranus ain't stopping. It's coming for that North Node. It wants you to be putting your art out there creatively. You can't be hiding. Okay, trust me on this. You don't want to be hiding. Maybe you feel like you're going to lose your head, right? I think we talked about this. The algal conjunct your midheaven. Medusa. Losing your head because all of a sudden everybody sees you and it can be like this fear of like, oh my God, am I under the microscope? Is everybody seeing? People should be seeing what you're creating, what you're working on, what you're showing the world. Because you're very talented with those trines. Don't waste those trines. And there's some shift that's coming between November and like May of next year, so it's expanding that. I think the Venus retrograde is going to be good for you at the end of the year. I remember telling you that. But I really think in like the immediate, what's coming up now, soon, is when planets begin moving into Libra in your 2nd house, and then it's setting up for what's going to be a Mercury retrograde. That's important because this is a Mercury-ruled chart. So when Mercury goes into Libra, when it starts retrograding at the end of September, lighting up Gemini for you, which is intercepted. It's your Chiron. It's healing something about self-worth, healing something about what you sell, what you create, going back to something, valuing something. Such strong aspects at the end of September for money and finances, building on something, building up the self-esteem. Definitely have stocks in your teaching. Yeah. I've seen so many people who do very well in the stock market who have Jupiter and Venus in their 5th house. Do you have kids? Because usually it's like these people either have kids and then all of a sudden they have abundance, or they have kids and they get into the stock market, or they make a bunch of money off the stock market and they're like, we're having a kid. There's always a connection because of Jupiter and Venus. Do you have 2 children? Let me know. But I would say go back to creative projects, really reevaluate, what you value, what you love, what you're charging for things, stuff like that. Like, you're going to be doing that in October. And listen, guys, all the retrogrades, the Mercury retrogrades this year were in aspect to the North Node or to Saturn, and they're all in air signs, so it's about communication. In Libra, we can partner with people. So it's really great to like reevaluate what you're selling and if you want to charge more for something, especially like, art or things that you paint or things that you print or create or design, right? One kid right now, there's 2. There's a Jupiter and there's a Venus. So traditionally that's a boy and a girl, but the Venus is going to be interesting because I think maybe we did talk about this. Venus is going to go retrograde over your Venus. Pluto's gone. Do we have the money to have another kid? Should we have one? Was the first one a boy? People for collaborations. Yes, I want you to do that. I think it's really good. This is pushing you to collaborate with others because of the square from the 2nd to the 5th, but it's also pushing you to collaborate more with a romantic partner. It's going to be good for you. I promise you it's going to be good for you. I want you to stay with it. I feel like October is a time for reevaluation, although there is definitely money that's being made. Money is coming in. Sun going into the 12th. Don't let it freak you out and worry about stuff. Visualize and meditate on abundance. Oh, you have a girl. Interesting. Is she a Capricorn or a Taurus? Because you've got Jupiter at 14 degrees. So usually that can be a Taurus, that can be a Capricorn. So maybe the other one's a boy. We'll have to see. Your second child is always your 7th house. And you have your moon in your 7th house, which means Jupiter transiting your 7th house over this next year. Your partner or a spouse will say, let's have a baby. I want to have a baby. I want it. Your spouse chooses the second child. And at a 19, especially because it's a Libra degree, as Jupiter hits that, you guys may have to move some things around in your house, obviously. But something about Jupiter hitting your moon, sextiling your North Node, like you might start to develop more of a reputation for yourself in the business that you have while you're having a baby. 7th house moons are always famous in everything that we do. We could be walking down the fucking street and people are going to be like, don't I know you? So when Jupiter's on your moon, more people are going to look for you. They're going to look after you. Your moon is your face, so they're going to see your face. And there's some kind of conversation being had about collaborations, creativity, but it goes hand in hand. And as Jupiter hits your moon, if you get pregnant, it will also be when you start having a rise to fame in your career. Aries moon, Scorpio rising. Yep. Aries moon, like me. That's a lot of Mars. Yeah, there's a boy. Oh, she's a Cancer. Okay. Okay. Very interesting. Usually you can look at the sign of the planets in the 5th house and you can see if it's a boy or a girl. Capricorn's feminine, right? By nature. Jupiter's masculine, but that's a Taurus degree. And then you also have a Scorpio degree. So they can be polar. Hopefully that was helpful for you, Ari. Let me know. Gingerbox, are you here? I'm going to keep asking. Are you here? I think we had another person. Am I crazy? Did we have another person? Yes, we do. We have another person. Lucas. That's right. How can I forget you, Lucas? 9/15/83. You have the exact same birthday as somebody who I know very well. That's probably why we rub each other the wrong way. September 15th, 83. And that was at 8:20 p.m. Grove City, Pennsylvania. So let's see what you've got going on. Where's the ginger? You're welcome, Ari. Okay, so let's see what we have got going on for you, Lucas. Directionless and disconnected. That is not a fun way to feel. You know, okay, so Virgos, all the mutable signs are getting hit, but I've heard a lot of Virgos having some challenges, and definitely 1983 is getting hit hard because you've got eclipses that are actually happening on your nodes that are squaring your sun and your Mercury. So it can feel like, where am I going? I'm floating through space. Nothing's making sense. When you listen to your horoscope, I want you... We're good until you said that. Lucas, I love you. I love you. I take it back. When you read your horoscope, you want to read first Aries, because Aries is what's physically happening, and then you want to look at Virgo, okay? So what's going on in your life right now? You had an eclipse on your North Node. We'll start there. So North Node being your direction in life, your Dharma. That happened back in June. And it's trying to wake something up pertaining to your Mercury. Your Mercury is conjunct your Sun. So it's, what do I create? What is my purpose? How am I helping? How is my health? These are some very complex squares. So if I were to list all of them, it's like, transit Neptune square the nodes, transit Neptune oppose the sun, Neptune dissolves and it does not make sense and things are not clear. So I just want you to know that, okay? 2, what you have going for you is the fact that Saturn is in your 11th house and it is actually building into a trine, both with your North Node in the 3rd, writing, communicating, expressing, traveling, and it's also coming into a trine with your 7th house. So it's saying, building and finding new friends. These friends can be on the internet, Aquarius. These friends can be people who are in different areas. These can be people who are online. I mean, I'm looking at the 11th house and the 3rd house wondering, are you trying to be more active online? Are you trying to talk to people online? Are you being really active in chats? And obviously this one, but what are you doing? And you're trying to find people who are going to speak your language, whatever it may be. Yeah, things are not clear. And here's the truth. I'm not going to candy coat it. They haven't been clear for a little while because you've been experiencing the Neptune opposition. It's been my experience, and I can say this because I know somebody who has the same birthday as you, different rising sign, but your chart is complex because you have Sun and Mercury conjunct, which is a lot of like overthinking things and over processing things. Your Mercury is retrograde. You are a profound communicator, thinker, writer. You have a lot of ideas. This is a chart that wants to be of service, but this is in a square to both the nodes and Neptune. With South Node Neptune conjunct, you're not here to go to faraway places. You're not here to talk about big, crazy, outdated ideas. It's really putting an emphasis on your 3rd house and Mercury. So it's, you know, what do I think? Do I write every day? Do I journal? Am I going for walks? Am I reading books? Am I connecting with my neighborhood? Am I trying to get more active in my neighborhood and trying to talk to people about being of service? Like, this is a very, very Virgo chart, okay? And as far as I'm concerned, with the trines that are happening still from, you know, you're getting them soon from Uranus, but you're still having them from Pluto, it's helping you build into a life that feels like it has purpose. And that means that you're having some change-ups and some switches going on with your value system. Also, you're having your Mars and Venus return literally at the same time, okay? Mars and Venus in Leo, that's the one thing I do like about your chart. You got lucky because you just escaped that Venus retrograde. So your Venus and your Mars are direct. They actually went retrograde that summer. So the people who have Venus retrograde a couple hours even earlier definitely have more challenges in their love life. Part of what I see is like, you know, Jupiter is in opposition still to your Venus and your Mars this year. So it's helping you align with other creatives, other artists, younger people, people who want to go on dates, hang out, go to bars. They may be in different places. You may have to find them online, but it's worth looking for them. I also know that Pluto's coming into a square with your natal Saturn, Pluto in the 7th. Relationships don't look easy in this chart. Many people who were born in the fall of 83, they have that conjunction. So it can be really challenging opening up and trusting people. But that trust comes through relationships that are built on friendships, okay? Saturn in your 11th, trining your 7th house cusp, trining your 3rd house. All you gotta do is just talk to people. I just want you to get in the habit of talking to people. Sharing ideas and talking to people about what direction you would like to be going in with your life, what you believe in, mixing with people who might be a little different, right? I'd like you to go and learn about Saturn, you know, coming into, not Saturn, Neptune squaring your natal sun, Mercury, and your nodes. It's amplifying your 12th house. You're looking for answers. You're looking for meditation, metaphysical thing. It could be good for traveling to foreign places, meeting foreigners. You know, the horoscope for Virgo is really good as long as Jupiter is in Pisces. So you got a little bit of it recently. I wonder if you're like looking to talk to people who speak other languages, or they might be in other places, but it's not about going to them, talking to them, learning from them. But the horoscope for Virgo is really good. Jupiter going into Pisces is your 7th house. So for you, for Virgo, it's 7 houses away, but for you, it's in your 12th. So you might meet them at a movie theater. You might meet them at a club, at a film shoot. You might meet them at a foreign place, right? Or where there are foreigners, tourists. Yeah, Saturn conjunct Pluto in those degrees. I've heard a lot of people say, I've never really had a real one. Consider yourself lucky if you haven't, because your relationship horoscope is kind of challenging with Saturn and Pluto in the 7th. Delay of relationships, but look for that to be opening right now because Saturn's coming into a trine. So you're building relationships on a friendship level, and as you get to communicate and feel more comfortable and kind of open up, things change, right? I love that you have Mars and Venus in your 5th house. You're so creative and warm, and really it kind of like hits that Capricorn moon in the teeth, because you know usually these are people who can be a little bit more cold and disconnected, but you're really not at all. And I would say it's about switching up some of those friends. I want you to hang out with other artists too, being that you're having your Mars and your Venus return at the same time. So you have your Venus return every year, Mars return every almost 2 years depending on the Mars cycles. But to have Venus and Mars star-crossed lovers, which very not so often come into conjunction, are conjuncting on your natal Mars and Venus, something is happening with relationships and or with creative projects. You just got to get out there. 5th house is bars, man. I know this sounds crazy, but go to theaters, go to bars, go places. That's all going to feed into the energy that's going on with your 5th and your 11th house. Reevaluating your relationships a lot in October. And big changes happening for you with Uranus trine your moon. Hey, hey. That's getting you thinking about where you want to be living, or changes in your home or with your family. Hopefully that was helpful. I'll try to get you those trash can memes. I'm on it. Thank you for giving me another chance. We had somebody else here. Let's go back. Is Ginger here? Ginger! I don't know how else to reply. Oh, thank you for sending me a penny. I'm sorry. Okay, so 10:23 a.m. Let me get your info up, Ginger. I don't know why the chat's not working. I'm so sorry. So it is 10:23 a.m. And this is 7982. Okay, and that was at Lubbock. So many Texans. I love it. Okay, so 7982, 10:23 a.m. All right. So let's take a look at your chart. So you had a couple questions. When is the energy going to ease up? Intense decade with Pluto squares. Mars, Uranus, and Aries. I remember that transit. It was on my moon. Stuff is coming up with work. Recent Gemini eclipse on top of my natal Venus in the 10th. Wowzers. Yeah, that can be creating some challenges with somebody at work being a little difficult. A female. Oh, you said that. With a survivor who didn't directly work with. I hope this might be helpful. Okay. Well, when is it going to ease up? Let's take a look. Ginger, I'm glad we got you. Okay, so a couple things. One is I feel like between an eclipse and a retrograde that you had happening in your 10th house, yeah, there was a lot of stuff changing. To be honest with you, for the most part, you're not getting your butt kicked as much. Actually, your chart's very similar to another client of mine who has experienced similar issues at work. You're kind of in the clear now. Now that you're done with the Saturn Pluto stuff that squared all your cardinal, which initiated things are going to get a whole lot easier. I think where you're struggling is actually the retrograde, the eclipse. You still have Neptune coming, you know, in and out of aspect, and Jupiter as well to Venus in the 10th. So can you trust people at work? Can you not? Are they people who are creating problems? Are they being overly dramatic? Also, you've got Saturn that's been in opposition to Mars and Venus recently. The Sun is going to do that opposition as well. So when the Sun comes into Leo right around here, let's say like the first week or so of August, pay attention. 12th house is always people who can screw you over, who you think are friends. They may not be friends. You have your Sun in the 11th. You're not at work this month or next month to make friends. Like, you just got to do what you got to do just to keep the peace. I would just be really careful with how you communicate and what you have to say to people at work the first week. But even then, you're going to see that a couple days later, both the Sun and also Mars will have made an opposition to your moon within the week of August 5th. That can also get kind of intense because the moon is a woman, ruler of the 11th. It'll probably manifest more as like something going on pertaining to like a coworker is like sick and you have to cover shift, or, you know, maybe a family member or a female's having a health issue. But still, just watch your back. Things will calm down a little bit. I'm also watching, similar to Ari, we talked about Ari's chart a minute ago, an eclipse on your midheaven ruled by Venus, and you've got your natal Venus that is chilling in the 10th. I mean, if work stuff doesn't pan out, it's likely to be something that doesn't pan out because you're not seeing eye to eye about what you're getting paid or some kind of exchange in October. If you're going to make moves, it would either happen as a result of that eclipse coming in mid-November on your midheaven, ruled by Venus, and Venus is in the 10th. It can mean that, you know, something pops off with a boss, or you get offered a raise, or you get offered a different department. Like, it's for the better. It's aligning you with the direction of where your life is going. Sometimes I've seen for some clients that manifests as a job ending, or, you know, somebody gets let go. But I don't really see that being the case for you. It's not making any really hard squares other than to your moon, but the moon is the ruler of the 11th, so it's much more likely to bring up health stuff, a coworker that's being moody, whatever. Word to the wise, Saturn's coming into an opposition, Saturn's coming into a conjunction with your moon. So over the next 2 years, dealing with moody women at work, dealing with schedule and shift changes, it might be beneficial for you to do that. And it just squabbles with coworkers, you know, and once again, Saturn in the 6th, not there to make friends. You may change your schedule, that might help. Even though this is like staticky, Saturn is trining all your planets in Libra in the 2nd. You're solid with money. You will have a paying job. Saturn is also trining still the North Node, and also coming into a trine with your Venus. Worst case scenario, sometime in November, maybe in January, February, you get offered a better job. But like, this is all telling me you're building into where you have control and somebody's not screwing with you or trying to screw you over. Like, it's trying to help stabilize everything in your life, you know? That's really what this wants to do. Is it going to let up? Saturn conjunct your moon is a bit of like a downer. I mean, thankfully Jupiter is there, so it's expanding right now, and it's saying, well, how would you like to work, and how do you want to feel, and how is this going to go, you know? What about travel nursing? Can you do that? Are you open to that? You have Jupiter in your 3rd. Jupiter's going to be on your moon. It's going to come onto your 7th house cusp, trine your Jupiter. Can you travel nurse? Can you have a different shift? Can you switch with people? Somebody might want your schedule, you might want them, and you cannot have to work with that person as directly. That's one way to handle it. That might help. I'm just going back to your question here really quick just to make sure I got everything, because I know you can't respond, so I'm sorry. I report to her when my nurse supervisor insurance committee prior auths. Personally, listen, you have another opportunity. If you weren't thinking about trying to get out in February or June and you didn't, you know, you might find something that pops up where you can renegotiate, you can make more money, or you have more security in October. Don't overlook that transit. Don't overlook the transit that's also going to be happening in January, February of next year, that Mercury retrograde, they all trine and aspect your 10th and your 2nd and your 6th house. Maybe you're going to be of better service somewhere else, right? Maybe you'll find a better schedule. Usually with Jupiter there, that's what happens. Okay. Got some messages from Sam. Hopefully the chat is working. You guys will have to let me know. We've had some kind of like weird glitches with stuff. Some people were saying that they couldn't respond. I've had other people who have been like, there's a delay. So if it is, I'm sorry. I apologize. Thankfully, I think we got just about everybody. I think we did. Give you guys a minute just in case somebody has something they want to ask. They want to respond to anything that we have chatted about this evening. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Like I said, I'm going to be back next Saturday in the PM hours. You will see me doing live tarot readings. So we're going to do tarot. If you are a subscriber, you're going to be on the top of my list. So if you want those questions in regards to tarot, we're going to do it next Saturday. Thank you to all the subscribers, everybody who watched, everybody who hung in here with me. Stay tuned because I do have a new video coming out on Monday for my weekly predictions. We're going to talk about all the full moon stuff that's coming, so it's exciting. Hi, Elle. I see you. Unfortunately, we are done for the evening, but I will be back doing this astrology in 2 weeks, and I'm going to be doing tarot next Saturday. So hopefully I can catch you soon. You guys like my reading style, and if you benefited from this, you may have, especially if you're listening for the rising signs. Hopefully it was helpful. This can be a really great way to get a vibe for my reading style and also to learn. I always appreciate your likes, your comments, your shares. Leave them below. You want to book a reading with me, you can find me at beyondtheveiltarot.com. Also check out all my social medias. You'll see all my Instagram stuff if you're into memes, and send me good vibes for TikTok, guys, because I played with TikTok. I am so old, it's not even funny. I went back and forth and I was like, what am I even doing? So do I make a TikTok? Do I not? Let me know. And I will see all of you guys very soon. You enjoy your weekend. I know tomorrow's Friday, so don't party yet. And I will see all of you guys on Monday. Take care.